welcome to the third of our 4 sneak peeks at some of the featured works offered in this, the 37th annual art auction here at the Rockport Art Association and Museum, to be held on Saturday, October the 1st at 2 p.m. EST, live, online only. Thank you for joining me, Judith Curtis, as we share yet another look at some of the paintings to be offered at auction from the cream of the Cape Ann artists. And without further ado, let's take a look at our first offering for today, Charles Woodbury. Although we tend to associate Charles H. Woodbury with Algonquin, Maine, where he spent much of his life, he in fact hailed from Lynn, Massachusetts. He showed an ability for the arts at a very early age and joined the Lynn Beach painters when only 16. He exhibited the first Lynn Beach painting at the Boston Art Club in 1882, having become the youngest elected member of the club at the age of 17. He had further success exhibiting and teaching throughout his career and became a full National Academician in 1907. He married one of his students in 1890 and they travelled to Europe, where Woodbury studied at the Académie Julian. In 1891 they returned to Boston and settled in Algonquin, Maine, where the school Woodbury established helped shape the town as a major artist colony. Rather than focusing on technique, Woodbury emphasised expression and careful observation in his teaching. He was a colourist who was obsessed with painting motion and taught his students to paint in verbs, not nouns. And we can see that in his painting. At sea, 20 by 27 oil on canvas. Look at the artist's innovative fluid use of colour and the rhythm of his brushwork to emulate the waves. Few painters can capture the movement of the ocean so realistically. And now let's look at a perennial favourite, Emile Albert Groupie. This piece is called Lane's Cove. It's an oil on canvas 30 by 36. Groupie was one of those larger-than-life characters. He had a strong accent from growing up in Holland, and the cachet of that exotic persona ensured his classes and workshops were always full, and his on-the-spot demonstrations attracted an audience of 100 or more, all milling about in the road, stopping traffic. And of course, Groupie, the consummate showman, always made sure he sold his demonstration piece before the crowd dispersed. Emile arrived on Cape Ann in the mid-20s. He and his father, artist Charles P. Groupie, came to Rockport first, after seeing paintings from Cape Ann entered in various New York exhibitions. It did indeed offer them all they hoped for: marine themes, harbours, coastline, quaint New England streets. The younger Groupie later moved to Rocky Neck, East Gloucester, to a property across the road from the harbour. He could just step out of the door and start painting. This painting of Lane's Cove shows Emile's evolution from a tonalist to a vibrant colourist who loved the strong effect of backlight. Backlight is when the light is behind the subject, creating silhouettes, which gives a more dramatic effect. Of course, Lane's Cove is thoroughly grounded in its composition, unlike our next Groupie. This is called The Net. It's an oil on canvas 30 by 40. Just wait till you see this in person. It is a magnificent painting. Groupie's colour and brushwork is phenomenal, and his design pretty much perfect. See how he leads your eye from the foreground along the gunwale to the action at the far end, leading our eye to the dory, where a lot of the action takes place. We see the crew in the rocker, gathering in the net, but then we notice the isolated backlit figure at the bow, and our eye picks up the sharp curved line rearing out of the water, and then we pick up the rhythmic line of the floats on the left-hand side, which bring us down to the foreground. It's interesting to compare the impressionist effect Groupie uses, where it is the action of the fisherman in the boat that's important, compared to Charles Vickery's naturalistic painting. This scene, Under Sail, which is a 24-36 oil on canvas, reminds us of the romance of sail. There is a sense of freedom in Vickery's ships, scudding along under full sail, And yet, for all the detail he gets in the sky, the ocean waves and the ship itself, the gestalt, or the wholeness of the scene, is tied together with simplicity and clarity. The real test of marine painting, according to Vickery, is to make the boat and the water live together. And he certainly does that. And here's our last sneak peek for the day, and I'm sure you can guess the artist. There is only one man who can render the effect of freshly fallen snow like this. Right, Aldro T. Hibbard. I'm afraid I've run out of superlatives to describe him. I could say he had a keen eye for observing the nuances of a fresh snowfall, the effect of snow draped on evergreens, as if it could slide off at any moment. He was brilliant, too, at reading the terrain, noticing the interplay of light, shadow and local colour. As the art critic of the Boston Transcript wrote in 1922, Hibbard has something that the other American painters of these snow scenes, able as they are, do not possess. A superior subtlety, a sense of values, a faculty of lifting the work above the plane of stark realism, and giving it the look of a higher kind of truth than literalism can compass. And before I forget, this is called Winter Day by A.T. Hibbard, 24 by 32 oil on canvas. And that's it for me, folks. Let's go out on a high note.